This is the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines. SACP calls for DA's removal from South Africa's Government of National Unity. Zimbabwe suspends tariff on U.S. imports. U.S. revokes visas for South Sudanese. Mali accuses Algeria of shooting down surveillance drone. In politics, SACP calls for DA's removal from South Africa's Government of National Unity. The South African Communist Party is urging the African National Congress to take decisive action to remove the Democratic Alliance from the Government of National Unity. This call followed the DA's vote against the recently passed budget, which the SACP criticized for increasing VAT, a move they argue will harm the poor and working class. SACP General Secretary claimed that the DA's rejection was not genuine concern for the disadvantaged, but rather an attempt to negotiate consensus from the ANC. He stressed that it is untenable to continue the alliance under these circumstances, urging that the ANC is the majority party and they are to act decisively to oust the DA from the coalition government. Shifting focus to economy, Zimbabwe suspends tariff on U.S. imports. Zimbabwe's president announced the suspension of all tariff on goods imported from the United States just days after President Donald Trump imposed an 18% duty on Zimbabwean exports. In a statement on social media, he emphasized his commitment to fostering a mutually beneficial and positive relationship with the Trump administration. However, analysts caution that this move may predominantly benefit the U.S., as Zimbabwe's exports to America consist mainly of tobacco and sugar, with trade between the two nations totaling $111.6 million last year. The implications of these decisions are set to unfold in the coming months. Moving to international relations, U.S. revokes visas for South Sudanese. The United States announced on Saturday the revocation of all visas for South Sudanese passport holders due to the country's failure to accept the return of its citizens. Secretary of State Marco Rubio criticized the South Sudanese government for taking advantage of the U.S., emphasizing that every nation must promptly accept its citizens' repatriation. This decision coincides with the rising fear of renewed civil war in South Sudan, which previously claimed 400,000 lives between 2013 and 2018. In addition to visa revocations, Rubio stated that the U.S. will block new visas until South Sudan demonstrates full cooperation. The international community has called for urgent measures to prevent the nation from descending into chaos. Still in international relations, Mali accuses Algeria of shooting down surveillance drone. Mali has accused Algeria of shooting down one of its surveillance drones near their shared border, a claim announced by Mali's security minister on national television. The incident, which occurred between March 31st and April 1st, prompted Mali, along with allies Burkina Faso and Niger, to recall their ambassadors from Algeria for consultations. Mali stated that the drone wreckage was discovered 9.5 kilometers south of the border, asserting that it was destroyed in a premeditated hostile action by the Algerian government. In a joint statement, the three Sahel nations condemned what it described as an irresponsible act. In response, Algeria's defense ministry confirmed that its army shot down an armed surveillance drone for violating its airspace, although details remain sparse. You are watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Moving on in international relations, Rwanda commemorates 1994 genocide. As Rwanda commemorates the 29th anniversary of the 1994 genocide, tensions are high due to renewed accusation of its support for the M23 rebel group in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The annual remembrance, which begins on April 7th and spans 100 days, includes a somber ceremony led by President Paul Kagame at the Kigali Genocide Memorial. This year, the event is overshadowed by the European Union sanctions against senior Rwandan military officials linked to the M23 offensive. The Rwandan government has retaliated by severing diplomatic ties with Belgium, accusing it of undermining Rwanda amid the ongoing conflict. As the nation reflects on the tragic loss of 800,000 lives during the genocides, the painful legacy of this dark chapter continues to influence regional dynamics and Rwanda's relations with its neighbors. In conflicts, rising tensions among militias in western Libya raise civil war fears. Tensions are escalating between rival militias in western Libya, sparking fears of an imminent civil war. Residents have met with militia leaders urging them to enhance security and address the growing military mobilization. The Tripoli Protection Force has issued strong warnings against escalating hostilities, accusing rival factions and the government of national unity of pursuing corrupt agenda at the expense of civilian safety. They vowed first retaliation against any military advances, holding the GNU accountable for the rising tensions. Meanwhile, leaders have condemned the mobilization as a betrayal to the nation. In entertainment, Miss Ivory Coast pageant bans wigs and extensions. The Miss Ivory Coast pageant has banned wigs and hair extensions from its preliminary round, prompting a celebration of natural beauty among contestants. This shift comes as the organizers aim to challenge long-standing beauty standards that often favor artificial enhancements. Contestants expressed joy at these new rules, feeling empowered to embrace their natural hair. The president of the organizing committee emphasized the importance of showcasing the raw beauty of Ivorian women, stating that the response has been overwhelmingly positive. As the competition unfolds, the initiative sparks a national conversation about beauty, self-identity, and cultural pride, potentially reshaping attitudes towards natural hair in a country where wigs have long dominated the beauty scene. Now in sports, Somalia faces second defeat at AFCON. Somalia has suffered its second defeat in the ongoing Total Energies CAF African Cup of Nations in Morocco, following a disappointing 5-1 loss to the Gambia. With one match remaining against Senegal, Somalia joins Tanzania in elimination, while Burkina Faso has already secured a spot at the 2025 FIFA Under-17 World Cup. Uganda is also vying for a World Cup berth as they prepare for a crucial match against Zambia. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and development. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojo Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.